Hey, all right, team. Thanks for making time. Let's land a Christmas party plan that feels joyful, inclusive, and doable. I've got a simple agenda: theme, format, budget guardrails, and roles. Where should we start?
Let's be honest, if we don't agree on the budget guardrails up front, everything else is just window shopping. I vote we pin down what we can actually spend, then the fun stuff gets real. Silas, you always push for big. How big do you see us going?
I hear you, Eleonora. I want this to feel like a real celebration, not just a line item. But I also know last year's spend stung. What's the top number you'd actually feel good about, one that lets us dream, but keeps things sane?
Silas, if we want something festive without repeating last year's regrets, I can back a max of 8,000. That gives us room for a proper venue and decent food, but we'll need to get creative on entertainment and cap the booze. Does that number make your vision possible, or is it back to the drawing board?
Hey team, I just want to highlight, I know we've got into like cost straight away here. I think it'd be better just to kind of maybe take a step back and just talk about the purpose of the event. What's the kind of outcome that we want? And that might be a better place to start before we get into the kind of weeds and talking about budget and costs and stuff.
Chief Culture Officer. For me, the purpose has to be everyone feeling included and safe, no one left out, no one stressed about access or awkward situations. If people leave saying, yeah, I actually had fun, we nailed it. What does success look like to you?
All right, Silas, fun is great, but not if it costs the earth. For me, success is a full room, happy faces, and a final bill that doesn't make us wince in January. Can we agree up front there's a hard ceiling on spend? No surprise line items this time.
Absolutely, Eleonora. No surprises, no blank checks. I'm on board with a clear top limit. But I still want the night to feel special. If we hit a wall, let's get creative before we start cutting the heart out of it. Deal?
Deal, Silas. I'm not here to kill the fun. I just want to know exactly what we're signing up for before we pop the cork. If we're clever, we can make it memorable without a second mortgage. Just promise, no last-minute splurges.
I hear you, Eleonora. Before we get dazzled by ideas, let's get real on basics. Venue accessibility, transport, and a plan for folks who don't drink. Every fun detail needs a check on safety and inclusion, or it's off the table. Sound fair?
Okay, Sean, but if we strip out every bit of dazzle, we'll just end up with another forgettable hotel buffet. Can we agree that the basics are non-negotiable, but the party also has to turn heads, especially if clients walk in? Otherwise, what's the point?
I agree with Katya. I think we need to shoot for the stars here and just try and get like a venue that's really, really amazing. But at the same time, I just do want to acknowledge everyone's kind of contribution so far. I'm hearing cost is a factor from Eleonora. I'm hearing Katya say that we want it to be kind of an incredible event that kind of impresses our clients. And Sean, I'm hearing for you that kind of accessibility and inclusion is really important. Have I understood all of those aspects correctly?
You've nailed it. That's exactly the tension we're working with. My dream is a party that feels big and memorable, but if it leaves anyone out or blows the budget, we've missed the mark. So, what's the version that gets as close to all three as possible?
That's exactly the sweet spot I want, too. A party that makes people talk, but also feels inclusive and smart on spend. If we focus on a venue with built-in atmosphere, we save on extras and still get that wow. Silas, how bold do you want us to be with inviting clients this year?
Honestly, I'd love to see a few key clients there if we do it right, people who'd actually mesh with our team, not just a parade of business cards. But I don't want it to feel like a networking event in disguise. What's your gut, Eleonora, on how that affects the budget?
Before we go to Eleonora, I just want to jump in and just kind of offer a compromise solution. I think if I'm understanding correctly, we need to find a budget, a location that's within the budget. We need something that's accessible, but something that also wows our group. One thing I would like to suggest is the Custom House in the city centre. That is, I know, an accessible venue. I've been there for an awards dinner for inclusion, so I know that ticks a lot of the boxes. I know the price is they have a good relationship with us already from previous events that we've been to. And we already know that some of our clients really like that venue. So I think that's something that could actually solve all of our problems.
That's actually a strong suggestion. If you know the ballpark price for Custom House, let's get that number on the table. I'd want to see the per head rate, what's included, and whether we can negotiate extras, especially on food and drinks. Can you share those details?
Silas, I checked last week. Custom House quoted us $85 per person, all in for food, basic drinks, and the main room. Extras like upgraded cocktails or late night snacks add up fast, minimum 15 per head more. Happy to push them for wiggle room, but that's our starting point.
All right, Eleonora, that's a clear baseline. Let's keep the 85 pound as our ceiling for now. If we want to add sparkle, we'll need to get creative elsewhere. If you can nudge them on perks or flexibility, even better.
I'd like to just check in with Katia and just understand, is this kind of proposal something that you think is going to work for you?
Custom House does have serious wow, those river views, the high ceilings. It's got the kind of energy that makes people linger and actually talk. If we can work in a branded welcome or a VIP corner for clients, I'm all in. I won't push for fireworks yet.
Okay, team, I just want to take this moment just to kind of see if we've got consensus on the party. I just want to check in with everyone that we feel like we've come to a shared agreement now in a direction that we can move towards. Is everyone comfortable that we're going to work towards putting the plan together for Custom House being the venue with some of the details we talked about? Everyone in agreement that this is the right direction to be heading?
You've guided us well, Chief Culture Officer. I'm happy with where we've landed. Custom House hits the mark for wow, inclusion, and budget, as long as we watch the add-ons. If everyone's nodding, let's move forward and iron out the details together.
Glad we agree, Eleonora. As long as Custom House locks in full accessibility, ramps, elevators, decent lighting, I'm on board. Let's also double check their staff are ready for a mix of dietary needs and non-drinkers. No surprises, no drama. Sound good, Katya?
I just want to jump in and say I'm glad we've got some consensus. The last thing I'd like to close the conversation on is probably the most important topic, is who is going to do the live music on the night. Personally, I'd love to see a live band. I know last year we had a DJ, but I think this year we could really look at getting a live band. I have a family member who has a live band, so we should be able to get it quite affordable. But curious, what's everyone think about the live entertainment on the night?
Honestly, I love the idea of a live band. Nothing gets people talking like real music. If you've got a family connection who can keep it affordable, I say let's jump. My only ask, can we make sure they're the type who'll play crowd pleasers, not just background noise?
Silas, I'll bite if the numbers play nice, but let's get an actual quote from your cousin's band, not just a handshake deal. And I want a full set list before we sign anything. Last thing I want is to pay for a jazz trio that clears the room.
Fair point. Eleonora, I'll get a real quote and the set list before we even consider locking them in. No surprises, and definitely no room clearing solos. I want this to feel like a real party, not a lounge act gone wrong.
Hey, so that was me facilitating one of the most difficult corporate conversations, planning the Christmas party. I don't think I did too bad there, and my score reflects that. 74 out of 100. I'm also in the top 20% of all learners, which is pretty good. During that conversation, on a serious point, I was practicing some specific skills around active listening, facilitating consensus, and ensuring participation from everyone. Did pretty well across those skills. Probably noticed throughout the conversation I was kind of acknowledging at certain points, bringing people into the conversation. And these are quite difficult skills to do in practice. So this is why this kind of like multi-avatar experience really puts you under pressure to try and take into account different people's perspective and come to some kind of consensus. We did, in the conversation, actually get to consensus. I managed to get the group to confirm they were happy with the direction we were going, which was really, really good. Yeah, that's an example of Real Talk Studio, multiplayer mode. I'd love to get some feedback on scenarios that you would do for the conversation. Catch you later.